thank you guys all for coming, and I'm going to be signing with
Ross, let's see, he was probably like a 6-year-old kid with a mohawk with high socks like Lawrence Moten used to wear from the issue basketball. He seemed to really focus on wrestling. So if you were showing a move, he might be bouncing up and down, he might be doing burpees, he might be doing something, but his eyes were always like glued right on you, you know, and he would just watch and he would just never stop moving, and it was like he constantly was working out, but he was focused. And in practice from 6 years old till today, it's still the same thing.
He had a lot of, just a lot of grit, a lot of aggressiveness, and I thought, boy, it'd be really fun to coach him someday. And that happened very soon, because starting 7th grade, he was varsity.
I was able to use wrestling as an outlet because I believe that it teaches you a lot of hard work and dedication, which some sports don't really teach you, you know what I mean? So I just believe I carry that stuff that I used on the mat, off the mat, to help me with my problems.
We made sure that school was just as important, you know, and he knew that wrestling had to be the avenue to get him that education that I couldn't provide. And he knew that at a young age, and he's always strived to be the best.
He does travel to so many tournaments, and he misses a lot of school because he's going to these elite tournaments where he's missing 2 or 3 days. You know, he's willing to catch up and do what's needed and stay with the teachers. Shows, you know, he's willing to put the work in. Ross volunteers with the Special Olympics. He plays on the unified basketball team, which is behind me right now. Ross is an icon to this community. You know, it's everybody in this community knows who he is. So, you know, and everyone in this community is so proud of him.
And he works with them, and he is so happy for them when they score a basket.
Athletics can only take you so far in life, you know what I mean? But I feel like the number one thing is just, as a person, you want to be like self-value, you know what I mean? You want to feel good about yourself at the end of the day. So maybe helping out those little kids make me feel good. And then I'm like unified basketball, I play that with like a couple special needs kids, and it really does make me feel good at the end of the day. Like, I make an impact on other people's lives, not just my own. So it really does make me feel good as a person.
And can you put into words what this means to you?
Oh, I dedicated my whole life to wrestling. I started when I was 5. I went to summers all year long. I just finally feels great. It's my goal ever since I was a little kid to be state champ. Now it feels great.
Probably the best though was my junior year when I finally won states, because that's like everybody's high school dream. You know what I mean? If they're in high school wrestling, it was to win states, let alone be there. So I finally won, and I just remember like I was crying after the match, and I was just like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is everything I worked for.
This town loves Ross. There's a reason they made it Ross McFarland Day. He is Phoenix.
Normally, thank God, knock on wood, I've never really been injured. Like, the worst was like a bloody nose my whole life.
Well, the injuries started in sectionals, which is a qualifying tournament for states, which is 2 weeks before states, and it happened in his semifinal match.
Made it to the semis against a kid I already pinned, so I wasn't worried about it. But the first 9 seconds is when I shot a single leg, I brought it up to his waist, and I went to pick him up and slam him. And when I slammed him, his whole body weight went right at my ankle, and I've never heard a part of my body crack or pop or anything like that.
When he injured his ankle, you know, at first they said it was just a high bilateral sprain, and you know, that it was really bad.
I had my coach just tape it around my ankle really quickly, even though it wasn't really the best tape job, but whatever. So I taped it around, and I ended up hopping around on one leg like Karate Kid, which was really funny. And I was hopping around, and I took him down and pinned him with the ankle pick, and I was really, really excited.
I brought him to rehab every single day, and I sat there with him to make sure he got the electric stem, and that he got the ultrasound, and that he was doing all the right stretches and all that stuff. And I mean, he really went through a lot to get that stronger.
the first, I believe it was 12 seconds. We were wrestling. We both went for an ankle pick at the same time, and the top of his head hit my face, and like I heard my nose just, and like both nostrils just started gushing blood. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I had a concussion, which I didn't know about.
Shattered his nose. It was like somebody popped a balloon of blood all over the place, and it bled for like 72 hours. Just bled. He had both nostrils bleeding, and you know, I had to have double plugs up there the whole time.
The ref came over me, he shook me, he was like, hey, you gotta say something or I'm not gonna let you compete. I was like, I'm fine. I was like, holy crap, you know what I mean? Like my head bobbling, it was surreal. I ended up, I don't remember what period or what I did, but I took him down and I escaped. You know, the only thing I remember was the last like 5 seconds letting him up, so I didn't hurt anything. So then I let him up and I beat him 3-1.
He got through that match, and then the finals, for that to be taken away from him was, oh, it was just brutal.
Then in the finals is when all that stuff happened.
Then they told us that they think there was a bite. Then when they made the ruling, we were pretty shocked. Ross was crushed. He was in denial quite a bit. And if you watch the video, he's kind of pacing back and forth.
You know, Mom, I really didn't bite. I said, babe, I know you didn't bite him, because if you did, he wouldn't have a finger. You know, it broke my heart, because he's down on the floor, we're up in the stands, and you're seeing him. Within, it seemed like seconds, but it was minutes, to have it all taken away and to see the devastation on his face is something that I hope nobody ever has to see in their kid's face. He was absolutely crushed.
And the way he handled it, I thought was amazing. But when it was all said and done, after about 20 minutes of pacing back and forth, you know, not being able to believe what just transpired, he came up to me and apologized to me, and I'm like, I don't need to apologize for me. And then he had tears in his eyes, and he looked at me, he goes, Coach, I'm making a big deal out of this. You got screwed out of the Olympics. And he gave me a big hug, and I'm like, who thinks of something like that at a point in his life where he worked so hard for that moment? That moment just got taken from him, and he's thinking about other people, and that's his nature.
I feel like I said, everything happens for a reason, and what happened to me, I feel like God is just trying to like see how strong of a man I am, not a wrestler, not a student, not a son, whatever, just how strong of a man I am.
Wherever he goes and whatever he does, he will leave lasting impacts on people, not only as an athlete, but more so as a person.
He loves Phoenix, you know, he wants to come back here, and he loves Gene, and he loves all the guys that he's been with forever. He's so loyal and devoted that it's not even funny. And wherever he chooses to go, he's gonna succeed.
If somebody random walked up to you on the street and said, you have 3 words to tell me about Ross McFarland, what do you say? Why?
Tough, because he can pretty much handle anything that's thrown at him.
Let's see, that would be 4 words.
Exceptional, because there's really nobody I've met in his generation like him. He's very exceptional in that regard in many different ways.
And in 3 words, I don't know if there's 3 words that I really can express the fact that he's just a phenomenally great person.
And humble. He's got the right ingredients, in my opinion, with the toughness and being exceptional and being humble. He's got the right ingredients to be successful in anything he wants to do in life.
3 words to describe him. Amazing, compassionate, and hardworking. Those would be my 3 words. Besides, I love you.
Ross will go there to major in physical education with a minor in adaptive PE, which is working with students with disabilities. This time, go ahead, Ross.
Thank you guys all for coming, and I'm going to be signing with Hofstra University to continue my wrestling and academic career.
Not just that I'm a great wrestler, you know what I mean? I want to remember that I was a very respectful kid and I really cared for others and stuff like that. But obviously I want them to remember like, oh, he was a stud wrestler and stuff like that, but not just that. I want to be like a good member of the community, you know what I mean? Like I participated in leadership and unified basketball, and when as soon as the name pops in there, like, oh, he's a great kid, great wrestler, great kid. So that's definitely what I think I want them to remember about me. The goal for me is definitely to be a Division I national champion. I definitely want to be a national champion. That's been my goal. Like, even if you start as a little kid or start as a high schooler, or if you just walk on at college, like everybody wants to be a national champion at the NCAA level. So that's definitely my goal.